Buenos dias. Goose morning. We are live and direct on YouTube, and those of you watching at home, you might recognize some new faces. These are various members of the Boricuaverse, and we are all here today to talk about Puerto Rican influence in nerd life and nerd culture. And those of you that say nerd is a bad word, you're lying to yourselves. So I'm going to go around and give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves and what inspired your amazing cosplay. So let's start with the Boricua Lorian. Ale.
Hello, I'm Boricuas. I'm Lily. And what inspired my cosplay? Well, I feel like this is a culmination of things that I love. I love to dance, I love my culture, and I love Star Wars. And I feel like my culture has given me a sense of empowerment and strength. And I feel like that's how I represent and emulate it through being a hero.
That's what's up. Uh, Lewis,
Yes.
our Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, talk to me.
Hey guys, I am Latin cosplayer. My real name is Luis, but everybody call me Luis because I prefer everybody call me Luis. I am a boarding ranger or Puerto Rican ranger. You guys prefer either way. The reason why because I'm a diehard Puerto Rican Power Ranger fan. I've been watching the series since day one, and love um love the series. I started cosplay Power Rangers almost like 10 years, 10 years ago. And then ever since then, I've been like growing. And then, yeah, as a matchup with me being a Puerto Rican and then loving Power Rangers, it was my biggest dream to do. And yeah, and meeting the actors too. Most of the actors saw my costume and they love it as well. So it's just, I got it made.
That's what's up. Sam, our resident photographer.
Hi, I'm talking straight from La Isla Borinquen right now. Hope you guys are doing good. My name is Sam. I'm a cosplay photographer and part of the media team of the Boricuaverse. I've worked with Lily a lot of times in the island and in New York, so it's great to be here and be able to talk about the love of our culture of Puerto Rico.
That's what's up. Again, thank you guys for taking time out of your Sunday. Um, Sundays are usually meant to be more tranquilo and be at home, limpiando. But thank you guys again, seriously. Um, Biggest question is, what do you think is lacking or is needed within the nerd culture when it comes to Puerto Rican representation? Because yeah, we have La Boriqueña, a beautiful comic book line. We have Miles Morales. We have the White Tiger. We have a whole bunch of different Puerto Rican inspired, heroes. But what do you think is needed to be shown more for us?
Well, I could jump in because I've been doing cosplay for a long time, and uh, all I see mostly in the entire like we always see a lot of POC cosplayers, especially like the black community, which is they're amazing, their unity as well. But the lack of like Latino cosplayer, like Puerto Rican, Mexicans, or any other countries, we don't see that a lot in here, especially in the States, and that's why we needed more to see more of that in the cons, like more representation. Like even it doesn't have to be a mashup, but it could just be like a character we wear, that we all love, especially for like anime, video game, TV show, anything. Um, it's pretty much lack of seeing that a lot, and and now we see that more often like now, which is it's just growing but not there yet. So we are seeing more and more and more because they see us now, and now they other cosplayers who from other countries are doing that now. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So,
Definitely.
what I think is lacking, I don't think we lack in characters. I think we lack in visibility and
Mm,
like the presence of Puerto Ricans in this community. And I think part of up is through cosplay, sending through cosplay, because then people will be like, oh my God, they're Puerto Rican too, and they're also in this comic space. And also just bringing to light the characters that are artists that are Puerto Rican that are not as present as the main characters that we see like in movies. So
Mhm.
thankfully series like for example Daredevil that came out with White Tiger, like things like that bring the characters that are already created like more into life.
Mhm.
Having White Tiger take that moment to talk about the cookies and the music that they make, I think that was such a pivotal moment of Puerto Ricans everywhere just be like, yeah, like just pure
Yeah.
pride, So at least for me, while I was watching, I stood up and I was just clapping the whole time through that 2 minute scene.
Mm.
Sam, you're in Puerto Rico. You're in
Yeah,
the
I'm in Puerto
island.
Rico right now.
So how's the
I'm
cosplay community over there?
over here, it's growing. I'd say it's grown a lot from recent years because at first I say the Puerto Rican cosplay community kind of started like booming here in like 2010, 2012, because it got a little bit later here in the island. But as in the culture of Puerto Rico, one of the things you see here a lot, for example, in Puerto Rico Comic Con, you see people do like la cucaracha, stuff that are very very identified here, and that's something in like early 2010 2012 you couldn't see it, but like now you're seeing a lot more. I think recently I saw someone do a leche, like de las tres vaquitas, which is
Uh-huh.
very iconic here. Somebody did a
La
cosplay that it was like a
Golden.
little warrior. Yeah, and that you don't back then you didn't see that a lot. And now seeing it more active, it's lovely because you're seeing this mix of like cosplay and Puerto Ricans just take their own takes on it. Hatsune Miku, Boricua, you're seeing a lot that more here.
Mhm,
Este, and that's something that I feel like it could, with time, get bigger because right now it's not that much. But I feel like I agree with Lily's point of view. Like I feel like we don't lack in character because us Puerto Ricans are very proud and we're loud and we go crazy. But I feel like it's more of a visibility issue. Like we need to just expand a little bit more, get more different characters. Luffy Boricua, get more and more different series get into it. It's
mhm.
amazing. I feel like it's not a hard thing to do, and I believe eventually we are gonna reach that point where we'll see the flag everywhere. So I believe in that.
So I
Uh,
have an interesting take before you move on,
Dale.
Wes. Because I've been able to see both from Puerto Rico and from the States how things have evolved, not just in the nerd culture, but just overall, how we represent ourselves. So I think, coming from Puerto Rico, being born and raised in La Isla, we're very proud of ourselves. We're very vocal and we are loud and proud about our culture and how we represent ourselves. However, in like early 2000s, late 90s, there was a huge like emo culture on the island, very dark, death metal type, situation, right? But where I'm trying to get to is it was very um Caucasian leaning, American leaning, you know, cosplay, if you can call it that.
Very white girl.
Whereas as we have evolved and grown as a culture, we have actually taken these influences from the mainland and made them ours, as opposed to being very mainland
Hmm.
representing. And I think that is a huge deal, with so many other Puerto Rican celebrities that have come out and said, I'm Puerto Rican, and they've been in the nerd culture, and we're like, whoa, like
Mm.
it's like this is freaking amazing, and going back to like Hector Ayala and Cesar, the Joker, he was Puerto Rican. Like it's those representations that don't get a lot of light too, and I think that's very important that we don't have that um marketing, for lack of a better word. where
Hmm.
we're not out there as much. We need to be out there. We need to be more visible. I think visibility is going to be what's going to drive a lot of this growth that we need in the culture. Sorry,
Like,
back to you.
Read.
I'm gonna also interject my own little.
yeah,
I've
I
been
was gonna.
cosplaying since I think I started back in like 2015. Um, and like I grew up here. I haven't been to like a con on the island or anything like that. Um, but at least like I even noticed too, like when I was younger, a lot of the cosplayers, like a lot of the big cosplayers, weren't really like POC. Like the first person I literally remember like being a POC cosplayer was Yaya Han.
Yeah.
Um, and then like I didn't really start seeing a lot of like black and like Hispanic cosplayers literally probably up until about like 2020 2021. um and then now just seeing like how cosplay has just evolved from like being so like stringent to just like seeing how like so many people infuse like the different cultures into it. Like it's just been really like cool to see, and I love that like everybody is just so into it at this point. Like I really think the growth of the scene as a whole has really benefited everybody, because like I was that kid that used to get like bullied for like cosplaying and like being a nerd, to now it just being like, okay, she's at Comic-Con.
You mentioned the whole being bullied thing, and I feel like not only for me personally, growing up culturally, like, oh, Puerto Ricans aren't supposed to like anime. Puerto Ricans aren't supposed to read comic books. I used to get picked on for that from my family and just from people in school for being the Spanish kid who likes, all this good stuff. So I like that you mentioned that.
That's so wild to me, because like I remember like I used to get bullied because I would hang out with like all the boys in my class because they'd be playing Pokemon and Naruto, and like me and my friend Leanza were like the only two like Puerto Rican girls that were really into anime and video games, and that's how her and I became like best friends.
Mhm.
And then like I remember I used to have to keep it like a super big secret that I like cosplayed, because like I was already that one kid, like I was one of like 5 Hispanic kids in a class of 30. But I was also the only one who had like an afro on top of that, so that was just another piece of ammunition. Um, and then on top of like the anime, and then I was always the kid wearing like I was basically like an emo kid, so I had the band bracelets and da da da. Like I still had my keychains on and stuff like that, but just like seeing that growth is like crazy, because like at least in my family too, oh my cousin Chaz, like he put us on when we were younger, like on the 1990s anime. And then like my nephew Esteban and my cousin Chris, we'd be sitting in my grandma's apartment. We would take over her bedroom, plug in the PlayStation, and we'd be playing like the Dragon Ball video game.
Guys.
Yeah.
So it's like with my family it was okay, and with my friends it was okay, but any other time it was just like,
Um.
Kindergarten, I was always collecting like Pokemon cards. Like I just, and always playing video games when I was little. So I feel like that just kind of with me till like now. But going back to visibility, you were mentioning the goth community. I definitely see an emerging goth community. The visibility is definitely more there in Puerto Rico, which is awesome. I know there's like one influencer. I think her name is Luan, and she's like a goth Puerto Rican, like represents it so proudly. So like you were saying before, like um, Puerto Ricans are very present in various places, like literally everywhere. It's just bringing it to light, really.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Exactly.
La Placita is where they all met. It was all like, it was just this shadow of darkness. It was just, I always loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you guys go to cons a lot, and again, I think the theme of this conversation is visibility. You guys go to cons a lot, and you guys have, I feel like, been the driving force of the rise in Puerto Rican representation throughout the cosplay community. It, again, my opinion, that's what I see you guys doing, and it is truly a beautiful thing. The biggest question that I have for you guys is: Have you guys been met with any like adversity or any type of negative criticism as you guys came into your own cosplaying?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Uh, the opposite of being Puerto Rican, but also an open gay, um, queer person. Ever since I recently just did a Pride Ranger. So of course I'm gonna get a lot of negative reception because there's a lot of like, of course, the MAGA people, and then
Mhm.
the left, the extremists and everything. They want to, like, say this about gay people, but they don't know, like, me. They don't know the type of person who I am. So I have a thick skin. I don't let criticism take over me, because it's not like it's just people with words, and it doesn't bother me as long as they're not in my face and telling my face, and I say, okay, back off,
Yeah,
But other than that, when people say anything, I just, like, what, just delete, block, move on, because I have a thick skin, because I dealt with a lot of negativity when it comes to my child life, not just being open gay, or being Puerto Rican, or POC, whatever.
hmm
It's just it's just also, like, lack of education, lack of responsibility of life and stuff like that. It's like we always been judged of stuff, and yet again, it's like we are more smarter than the people who always judged us. So
yeah,
that's how I am raised, because I learned this a lot from my mom, before she passed away. Like, you gotta have thick skin, because people are gonna be criticize you no matter what. So.
Yeah.
I just want a quick shout out to all the people that are in the chat because I recognize some of them. So thank you everyone for tuning in and dropping these awesome comments. Like I wish I could like respond, but our conversation is just so.
I mean,
um,
please feel free to respond to anyone at any point that you see a comment that catches your eye. By all means,
I know all
engage
the
with
girls
everybody.
said like all the ladies' makeup is fire, so thank you guys.
Yeah, I see the chat too. Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys.
Uh, Sam,
so
what about?
in,
Oh, Dale, I'm sorry.
in terms of like adversity and stuff. So when I started this cosplay, um, one of the first things was I changed the blue. I went for the lighter blue for many reasons, but my initial one was the darker blue. I mean, that's just what we're mostly surrounded with in New York, until many people online were like educating us on, what the flags mean and stuff like that. But when I had the darker blue, I was always called America, like Captain
Mm,
America this, America that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you're very close. We are part of America or Puerto Rico. Um, of course, there's always going to be haters. If we actually listen to the haters, we wouldn't really go anywhere. So you just don't really pay attention to that. Um,
Mhm.
Something that I noticed, which is important overall, is just even if you're doing cosplay, to represent with respect and to do it the right way. For embarrassing as it may sound, when I was initially carrying the flag, I was carrying it upside down and I had no idea until
mm,
someone pointed it out. Like, hey, your flag is upside down, the star needs to be pointing up. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, I'm sorry. Like, you don't want to, you're represent your island that you you don't want to like do it incorrectly. So
yeah.
like just attention to detail and like respecting the flag and the culture is probably the takeaway from doing this.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, I guess I have a different perspective with this because I've worked with a lot of Puerto Ricans, right, in the island, but I've also worked with a lot of Puerto Ricans in the States, in New York. So, I've seen that adversity wise, the first thing that comes into mind is how loud we are. Because since I'm a cosplay photographer, I worked with all sorts of different people, very diverse culture in my page. People that aren't Puerto Rican sometimes be like, "Oh, why are you guys so loud? Like, why are you guys like waving your flag so much?" And I've seen comments like that, and it's that lack of education. They don't understand our position, our culture, and why we do this. And I've seen that a lot. I'd say that's most of what I've seen, because on the Puerto Rican side, on the island, I've seen a lot of praise when you like start mixing Puerto Rican culture with cosplay. Be like, yo, hueva! It's like people get excited. It's like, but I've seen mostly outside of like Puerto Ricans, because I see also Puerto Ricans in the States are also just as proud.
Mhm.
But it's that lack of education that I think Luis had mentioned earlier, that people outside of our circle that do not understand, so they just throw hate, and it's like it's just uneducated, and sometimes you just ignore it because they don't understand, so we just keep moving forward and keep being proud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
just like staying silent is the best key to let the argument win, because at the end of the day, it's like once upon an argument everybody about what to learn about our culture, and they don't learn it, they don't see it, like if they're not there interested, like especially like in parade or festival or in Puerto Rico, you know, then they should stop talking, in general,
Mhm.
because they're not there in present to know what's going on, why we are proud of what we do. Like if American could wear their flag, be proud of their art, we are proud of what we are because we're Puerto Ricans, And same thing with
Mhm.
other countries, do the same thing. They proud of what they are because they proud of who they are, you know. So, but yeah.
Oh, this is actually a good question that just popped up. Have you come across any Puerto Ricans that had given you backlash within your own circle?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah. I think that's
Personally, on the island or Puerto Ricans in general, I don't think so. Like lately, I've just noticed a lot of praise. But on my part, I don't know about Lydia and Luis. I haven't seen like actual Puerto Ricans get mad of our representation in the cosplay community. Um,
Yeah, we get some criticism here and there here.
I feel like most Puerto Ricans understand what we're doing, and we're trying to get ourselves out there. We're being proud. Corren la sangre, como dicen. It
Mm,
runs in the blood. So I personally haven't. I don't know about Lily and Luis, but on the island on my side, I haven't seen that much hate when it comes to that circle of the cosplay community.
Um, Not really in the cosplay community, but I feel like overall, what I see a lot in comments and stuff is like, and this is like the controversial thing that goes for everything, like not just for cosplay. I feel like because we have the flag on us, we become a target, but it's always
Mm,
you're not a real Puerto Rican, you're a real Puerto Rican, like oh, like you don't even know how to like you're not even a real Puerto Rican, you don't do this, and it's like you don't know me. Like what? Like
mm,
who are you to judge? Like,
Exactly.
you.
Yeah, it's always like
absolutely.
that. Yeah.
And I think part of it is like maybe it could be like I'm seeing in the comments here is some projection. Hey, I see AR Creations in the chat. What's up? AR Creations is in the chat. He made this for me up here. This beautiful drawing of me. He was my first kid. So I was,
That is
Nice.
beautiful.
but yeah, artists in the chat here. But yeah, I think that whole like are you a real Puerto Rican? You're not real Puerto Rican because you live in the States and blah 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 blah. And it's like that. I'm so tired of that argument because it just like that's just division. I don't know if it's envy within the community or whatever it is. Like us Puerto Ricans, we have to like beef about that, but I think it's unnecessary because
We actually had a whole episode dedicated to "Are you body enough?" And it got pretty heated to
yeah,
that point because
because it's like
there's always two sides
enough
to the coin.
wear it in a cosplay, and it's like of course I am. Like if you like, you know what I mean? Things like that.
Yeah,
Daya
absolutely.
has a good one. I'd love to know the process of building your cosplay and if it was difficult or not. I've always wanted to cosplay.
No, not really. I mean, it depends. I mean, if you make it a cafe, yeah, it's gonna take you a lot of time, and also you gotta have a lot of patience. But if you want to find somebody to make it for you, you could always go ask like people like me or Lily or whoever, like where to go to buy. to buy, like, for example, like a ranger helmet or a Spider-Man suit or something like that. We have so many resources, we go to. So
Yeah, I gotta hit the three of you up because I have a backlog of plans that I need to get a handle on. So, anyways, but at least on building your own cosplay thing, like it really just depends what you're doing. Armor is way harder because then you have to go between like what material you're using for the armor, like chest plates, and just really making those like your own proportions. I personally haven't done any armor cosplay, so that's just a little bit of a different perspective on my end. All of mine have just been straight fabric, so it really just depends like what you're doing. And then another side, I don't even remember the first question on the backlashing. I have a little bit of a different perspective on that, to go back to Nick's point. Like I'm not, it's not like if we said like, oh, like the whole "are you body enough" like conversation, that's like the last thing people clock about me till I start speaking Spanish. So like once people realize like, oh, like I'm another like Puerto Rican cosplayer, like I've noticed a lot of people have also just gotten really excited. And I remember too, like I didn't find other Puerto Rican cosplayers, so I started following you guys like on Facebook. And I literally ran downstairs and I showed my parents, and I'm like, look, like there's other Puerto Rican cosplayers. Like I was freaking out, like straight up. And like it was just like the best thing ever. And then I remember I found another Puerto Rican cosplayer. Nathy likes pizza. I'm obsessed with her. Like I'm obsessed with you guys. Like just seeing that. And I'm like, and then I had met one of the Puerto Rican Hatsune Mikus at Anime NYC, Michi, and I was like, oh my God. So just to like see that, I'm just like, this is something I want to get into. Like I gotta figure out like what cosplay I'm gonna Boricuafy, but like I'll get into that in a second because I have to remake a lot of my cosplays. I don't want to talk about it.
A Sailor Boricua, a Sailor Moon Boricua. That's funny. I like that.
Don't get me started.
yeah,
I want to cosplay Sailor Mercury so bad, and I have the fabric sitting next to me.
well,
The,
that's
the
what it's.
last cosplay that I
I would like
did,
to see that. Yeah, I would like to see a Sailor Borica verse because we do have a Sailor Moon, so I mean, it would be nice to get like a Sailor Mars or Jupiter, all the Sailors in the
Sailor
Borica verse.
Mercury is the love of my life.
So I see
oh,
Nick Figueroa here. I think I know who he is, but he's asking some great questions.
Yes.
yeah,
He was
he's
saying, is there playing division, like different perspectives for cosplayers from the island versus here in the States, like we go through in general? So are you saying like the differences between the communities in PR versus here? I think this is something that might be able
I
to
think
speak.
we answered that already. So I don't think, I don't think so that much.
I think we kind of already went over
Yeah.
that question already.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the questions being asked because you
No,
guys
yeah.
are
Those are
the crowd
great
is
questions.
on it today. The crowd is really on it today, and I'm loving it.
Um, you sketch your own cosplays. So for this one, I feel like the cosplay process is varies between people. Like how me, if I just have an idea in my head, like I just have to put it down, and if I like truly see like, oh my God, then you just go for it and you make the cosplay. In terms of the Boricua Lorian, it was actually funny. My friend who is in this chat, who I worked with in making it, um, he has the Cantalorians. So he did Pokemon Mandalorian. So I feel like his cosplay is what introduced me to the mashup world where people, mix things. And he was kind enough for me to be a Cantalorian. After that, I was like, oh my God, I want a mashup for me. Like, I love how I feel as a Mandalorian, like what would represent me. And boom, I was like, I'm Puerto Rican. Like I have not seen a Puerto Rican Mandalorian. Like I want to be Puerto Rican.
Yes.
And from that point on, to sketch it was a whole process because the main question was, how do we represent so we don't look like America and we don't look like Texas? And that was like a lot of back and forth between that. Eventually, we came down to making sure that the triangle is emphasized, the point, right? Because that's part of the flag, and the three stripes, and then also just trial and error is just having it either on a paper or even digitally. I mean, I'm not really an artist that really draws, so I was using other people's like I was using screenshots and drawing over screenshots of like a helmet and like kind of like coloring it in and seeing like what looks good, and everyone, that's part of my uh, creative process, I guess you could.
Yes, the same thing with me. I have a friend who is a cosplayer, but he's more an artist now. He did a art for not for me, but I used to be a part of the project. But I left that project because of personal reasons. But he does a lot of art, a lot of art, and he also did mashups. So I went to him. I said, "Hey, can you help me make me a I'm gonna do a Puerto Rican Power Ranger suit, but I was trying to figure out which one I want to do." So my favorite Ranger is the Red Ranger. I love Mighty Morphin Red because I love the being leader is cool. But I said, you know what? Let me see how it looks on the Dragosaur helmet. So he did that, and and I said it's perfect. So I tried to figure out the colors. We did red, it didn't look right. We did blue. It was like okay. So I said, you know what? I said, since I like how Lily looks, I said, let me just see if I could incorporate with mine with like a shield with the that's a star. That's you see like it's with the flag down. So that's what I did. So I have a star here in front with the flag is at, and then the back too. And then the back is my cape, which you guys. Well, I'm gonna turn around a little bit so you guys see it. You see, it's a cape right here. So that's this cape is made. My boyfriend made this cape as well. So yeah, so that's what I did. That's what we did. So
Well, your
and
boyfriend
also
is
Beautiful.
talented.
and also, and also I have a spear too, which well, let me just bring on the spear now. I created a spear as well because I wanted to be based more like a Dino type of
Hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
So so I figured like look up weapons that based on Dino. So you see, I had drawn up to be a spear like this with the spear head and the spear in the palm. So and it connects too. So that's why I'm always like this. So
That's really dope.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
I
the
love
fact
that
that
also.
that sphere stays together, I'm jealous. Me and split props, I haven't figured it out quite yet. Okay, we had a couple questions, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go in order real quick. So Daya asked, as cosplayers, have you ever met your favorite characters or actors yet? How was that? Did you geek out? I will start with that. I met part of like the cast of Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, and I flipped out. And I also met the VA for Medusa and Soul Eater.
Nice.
I'm yeah, I flipped out like straight up. Like I was like, oh my god. And then like when I met Yaya Han, I almost like cried. Because she's like the whole reason I got back into cosplay with like when I got into cosplay the first time ever watching Heroes of Cosplay.
hmm
So
Well, for me, I didn't start cosplaying in 2012. The reason I got into cosplay was because my little brother started first. He was the first OG cosplay before me. So um, before that, I pretty much met most of the major actors. Well, the only major actor I met, the first only was JDF, JCDF Frank. So the first cosplay I done, it wasn't me. I just bought it. It was a Scorpion outfit from Mortal Kombat. Um, Jason David Frank first ever appearance in New York City was New York Comic Con. So I met him and I was nervous. I was nervous. I was scared because I was like, oh my god, I'm meeting Jason David Frank. But I met him again, and he was. I got chilled and we talked, and then after that, I haven't seen him like years after, and I haven't started doing Ranger cosplay until like 2015, and that's when I met the other Ranger actors like Austin St. John, Amy Jo Johnson, David, everybody, and until they saw my stuff, they said, "Oh, I love your Puerto Rican outfit and stuff." But sadly, Jason and Frank passed um before I had it made, so he didn't even get a chance to see this outfit. But I do met his one of his kids, and she said that she loved this. So
I had the pleasure of meeting JDF too, and Walter Jones, and I got to meet a bunch of them. And I actually have a picture hung up on my wall of when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I was dressed up as the White Ranger next to a cardboard cutout of the Blue Ranger, and I managed to get a couple of the Rangers to sign it before JDF passed away. And for me, that was like a big highlight to meet my childhood heroes. And for me, as a kid, I went through a lot. I was really sick. So for me, they helped me through getting through with my sickness, as a kid, because as a kid, you don't understand what cancer is. So you think, oh, you're just sick. So I rationalized it as, okay, the Power Rangers are fighting a bad guy. The bad guys are making the world sick. That's why I'm sick. When the Power Rangers do
Mm,
I,
good,
I'm
I'm
gonna
feeling
I'm
that's
gonna relate you on. I'm gonna relate you on that too because I'm also born with a critical disease as well. Um, Power Rangers was the first show I ever watched, and like you said, it was like he was villains and fighting against the disease is your main villain, and that's the thing that it brought me to, you know, getting a second chance. And I told the actors about it, and they said, "Are you okay? You fine?" I said, "Yeah, I'm great. I'm well, like better than how I was since I was a kid. Because during that
yeah,
time, it was kind of new. The medicines wasn't even advanced yet, and kids and adults were like dying from it. So it's like yeah, that I told them the story, and they loved it, and yeah, that was the reason how I got into palmistry as well. Is I was in a hospital and I saw that on TV,
yeah,
and
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. You
I
know,
I definitely have my own little story too about that. I remember watching Heroes of Cosplay like when I was a kid, and I've honestly had mental health struggles since I was about 12, 13 years old. And then like just being bullied so much for like liking anime and like wanting to cosplay and stuff like that. And then seeing like these people who like made it into their jobs, I was like, wow, like I could like this can just be like another part of me. And like I always felt like I guess like seen when I would see like other cosplayers and stuff like that. Like I have friends that I made in the community over like 10 years ago. Like one of my first ever internet friends finally ended up meeting up at an anime NYC back in 2021, and I was literally just like crying. Like I remember like I used to rush home like telling my parents, I'm like, yo, I gotta watch a new episode of Naruto Shippuden. So like definitely just there have been some times where I'm like anime and like video games have just genuinely gotten me through a lot. Oh, Mimi has a question for Sam. What inspired you to photograph Puerto Ricans cosplaying? What got you into photography, and do you travel a lot?
Shout out
uh,
to me.
Thank you, Mimi. Okay, so I started doing photography on 2021. I even have a degree in la Universidad de Puerto Rico de Rio Piedras of audiovisual communication. So that's where it kind of all started. I was like studying. I was like, wait, I like the photography aspect of this career. And that's when I went and I graduated from that. So I took everything that I learned from my university and I started applying it to cosplay photography. I was like, this is what I like. But I didn't care too much about weddings and quinceañeros. I was like, cosplay. I love cosplay. And when I started to realize, I think it was almost when I first met Flores Lily. I saw on the internet that there was Puerto Rican cosplayers, and that was a thing. And I'm like, what? I never knew that. So I was like, that's amazing. So I found Lily's page, and I was like, oh my god, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to represent on my page. That's everything. So that's actually when I met Lily because I was like, Lily, I want to work with you.
And I'm like,
Like
I
I
need a
DM'd
photo of
her.
Puerto
Yeah,
Rico right
I
now.
need you. Like you are literally what I'm looking for to spread in my page. I love seeing that culture merge with something that you love, that art. So I feel like in the photography aspect, you try to look for those little details. For example, Lily has like el coquí, the little symbols, and usually when I'm like photographing her, I try to emphasize these little things because that's what makes Puerto Ricans. You know, it's like those little details. I think someone mentioned that in the chat earlier. It's beautiful seeing that mix, and I never knew back then that was a thing, and now it's being more evident, like thanks to the Boricua verse. It's being more spread out. Recently, Lily did the Boricua verse for the first time in Puerto Rico at SecajuCon, so that was huge because that was the first time we have a space where a lot of Puerto Ricans can reunite and do their Puerto Rican themed cosplays in the island. So that was beautiful. It was amazing seeing all different takes of different characters. I love what Lily does with the Boricua verse. So that's why I love working with her a lot. Because I feel like what she strives for is also what I'm looking to represent. You know, it's bring that Puerto Rican culture to light, bring those colors, those reds, those blues. And I guess what inspired me, oh my God, what inspired me into photography? That's a big question. um, I'd say, I guess I started doing videos, right? I first started as a videographer, and then I realized that I kind of liked photography a little bit more along the way. And it's like started taking pictures, and I like being able to capture that moment. And as I was like mentioning earlier, being able to bring these cosplayers like Lily and Luis, their visions to light, you know, that representation, you know, because when you see a professional picture, you're like, oh my God, it's the Puerto Rican flag, you know, look how good that looks. I love that reaction. I've just had people come to me like, I love that you're representing like a lot of Puerto Rican cosplayers, and that's not that common. Seeing a photographer emphasize that a lot, and it's beautiful. I love that a lot.
Yeah, I can relate to some because I also do photography as well. Uh, Taking pictures with cosplay, especially like in scenery, like because I live by the park. I live by a huge park. I love taking pictures in the park. So I learned this from a friend of mine who is a veteran cosplayer. He not a veteran, like an army man. Like he's been a cosplay for a long time. He says this is advice for every cosplay. Your cosplay tells a story when you're in the location. So that's why I say, you know what? He's right. Because I'm a Power Ranger. I have to be out there to represent, your background is a good story and also a good scenery because you want to tell a story like, all right, this is me, my Puerto Rican family, the body ranger, in a forest, like it's almost like the in UK, a little bit almost like it, and I'm representing my culture, it just that's how it is. We bring it to life, of who we are as a cosplayer. Because this is our now we bring our characters to life. We tell the story, and everybody sees that they say, "Oh my God, I love this! I want to see more of this. I want to see it in places like this here, there, and there." And we love all the reception, and that's what we love.
I definitely I've been on the other side of that. Like I remember seeing like your guys' work start coming out. And then like I remember the first con I saw you guys at, I was with my ex at the time and I was like, oh my God, it's a Boricua Lori. Like I was like screaming, crying, throwing up. And I'm like, I hadn't been cosplaying that much anymore. I had stopped. I just recently got back into doing it and like remembering how much I love doing it. And then when Wes is like, we're doing the Boricua Lori, and I'm like, I was already like crying, screaming, throwing up. I'm like, I am going to be there come hell or high water.
When I saw that you joined Boricua Lauren, I freaked. When you joined the
Yeah.
server, I panicked. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit. I just
And I'm
oh shit.
like, and then I'm like, oh shit, she's just seen me be weird so many times. I promise I'm not weird.
Girl, you're fine. Well, that video on TikTok showed up on my feed about uniting the diaspora. And, I relate to that a lot because doing this cosplay, going to all these cons, I am reaching out to the diaspora as well, but through the nerd community and just
Mhm.
working with Sam, who is in Puerto Rico, and they have their whole community over there too. We're all just trying to build bridges here and connect through the mutual community. So I feel like that's a great thing.
Big shout out to Lexus for that TikTok that set all of this in motion.
Yep.
Huge shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Nick asked, "Is there
Yes.
something as
Nick asked a
cosplayers
good question.
that you wish would change for us at events that you go to, or maybe what you hope would be the next level would be for us?"
Hmm.
I wish that would change.
That's
I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm like, it's just kind of general cosplay things, at least on my end. Like, I notice some people can be really weird about asking people for photos, or just like kind of some people. Luckily now, not as much now as people were back then. But at least like on my end, I really thank the black cosplayers for this. Like, I always remember like when I wore wigs. For one, I didn't know how to put my massive hair into a wig. So I learned from them, and then seeing all these cosplayers being like, "Hey, it's okay to get your stuff from the beauty supply." Like, that was one of like my eye openers. I was like, so I definitely, and then I had never seen like really a lot of Puerto Rican or Hispanic representation at all in the cosplay competitions. So at this year's Anime NYC Masquerade, I saw Nathi competing, and I was like, "Oh my god, like I gotta see her." Like, and then like seeing like it's just really keeping that momentum steady, in my opinion, of having like the Puerto Rican cosplayers and being that like, hey, it's okay to influence your diversity, like in whatever way you see fit. So that's kind of like a little piece on my end. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I've seen it, just like within the last like since I've started, basically.
well, for me, because it's not just about in the states; it's also around like different countries. I recently just watching the World Cosplay Summit, and a couple of years ago, uh, I saw the Mexican um, cosplayers. They took two gay open gay men, and they did a Street Fighter. One did Chun Li, and one did Dawson, and they won everything. They won the whole thing. And World Cosplay Summit is one of the biggest cosplay competitions. Like it's like the Olympics of cosplay of ever. So like if you like win competition in like for example like Anime Expo or whatever cons that's in Anime New York, you get asked to go to World Cosplay Summit, which is like the biggest one. And what they do is like not only do you show your cosplay, but you do performances, like you perform in your cosplay. And ever since I saw that, I said right there that that's what we need to see more is like us like Puerto Ricans or POC, we gotta perform out there to show what we could do. Yes, there's some armor conflict. It is limited. I have wear armor before. It is hard to walk on these things, but at least you gotta try. Like I said before, telling your story about you gotta tell your story of your cosplay because that's how people will. That's how you wow people. Say, "Oh my god, I never see that in person." Like
Yeah.
I did one of the Evil Rangers for a fashion show, and this guy he did interview me. He said, "I never see anybody do an Evil Power Ranger like that in everywhere." I said, "Yeah, because I'm a huge fan, and been doing this Ranger for a long, long time, and I made it happen, and I got it, and I got to be part of a popular fan project called Unworthy, and it was a dream come true because." I get to feel like what it's like to be a Power Ranger in real life because it was amazing. So it's just something like that. We get to see more of that is people out there performing like in the contest and me representing.
This is a good question. When you guys get into your cosplays, it it's exhausting sometimes. How do you guys re-energize yourselves and keep that passion going? Because I'm sure making the cosplays over and redoing and coming up with different ideas that could be mentally and physically draining. So how do you guys keep that passion driven?
In con weekends, a lot of 5-hour energies and Tylenol.
Making
And
sandwiches, making sandwiches is a key because food is expensive and I'm not paying anything. So I have to make like 10 sandwiches because if I'm not leaving the car, because one, you got to be stopping for pictures and you'll be in the middle of like nowhere and you got to get out the car, which is all the food places is like far away and you need to make a lot of sandwiches.
Me and
Sandwiches
my
on the go.
friends bring a case of water to every convention we do the whole weekend at because we are not paying $8 a water bottle.
Yeah.
Like and then you need a can of got to be, a bottle of Tylenol,
hmm
snacks, and a case of water. And
hmm
you're be running off half a chicken tender the entire weekend.
Especially like every time like because I'm been wearing the helmet all day. I be asking my boyfriend saying like, "Babe, give me Tylenol, because I'm getting a headache. I get back pains. I get headache. I get back pains." It's like it's a lot.
My friends have had to fully help me get back into cosplay after I use the bathroom. So also a good way of having a handler. Like I know that's such a weird way to say it, but there's always that one person with you who's not in cosplay or in a very easy cosplay. Like they're lifesavers. Like I cannot tell you how many times I've needed my friends. Like I'm like, yo, I need you to zip me back up. Like pull out my anagua from like underneath the 5 dot type. Like I'm like, please retie my top like the whole 9 yards. Like I need like pinches. And I'm like, yo, I'm like, there's a pinche stabbing me in the scalp. Please take it out.
Yeah,
Like
especially like like say for example like if you like just when I live around with my boyfriend, I always tell him to walk either behind me or in front of me because if something breaks, if somebody like ram me back in the behind me of my heel and something falls off, and he sees it and he fixes it because it happened before for last year festival. I did the star in the back and I only put the paste in the back. I did glue it in. So I lost the star, the back piece, lost the star back piece because somebody ran me over in the back. And I talked to him about it. I said, babe, the back piece gone. Like, so we went home. He made a new one, and this time he glued it in. So
a bottle of
See,
coquito.
pressure
Yes,
stands.
I love that. Coquito.
I
But
I
see
yeah,
a
think
question.
me and
Damn.
friends are
uh,
at 787
of course,
Coffee literally every day for Anime NYC. I just straight up brought like quesitos in with me to like Anime NYC. They made me finish my coffee though before I came in.
To sneak in quick quesitos is a clutch move for sure.
Oh, we bring in quesitos, water, snack. They made me finish my coffee though because it technically wasn't sealed.
Ah,
Um, but like I'm pretty sure there's photos of me somewhere on 787 Coffee in like a full maid outfit. So if y'all saw that, that was me. They were so excited to see us in cosplay. So it's like definitely like I definitely see like just even out and about, like a lot of people just like love it.
I saw a question for Sam about the process when it comes to picking the best photos and the editing, and how long does that take for you to do all those
Ooh.
touches?
Look, depends. Oh my God, it depends so much on how lengthy the pictures were. But usually when I'm done with the shoot, I put all the pictures on Lightroom. That's my editing software.
hmm
And I go one by one, seeing, okay, then you go back and you're like, wait, no, the face here looks better. Sometimes those little details. Um, it takes time, but usually I never take. It depends, because, for example, recently, I worked with Liddy and SakaijiCon, um, and we did two shoots. We did the Boricua verse shoot, which was capturing the whole crew, and those are already posted. But I'm still editing the other Saboconcho ones, which
Mhm.
is a shoot that I can't wait for you guys to see, because we tried to recreate a little bit of that nightlife with this with that bunny thing. Oh my god, I can't wait for that to come out soon. Um, But you know, it really depends on the length. Usually never takes my usually my limit. Like I usually never like keeping clients wait more than a month. Usually I try to have everything done in like a week or two. If things are extending, I'll always write back, be like, hey, it's taking a little bit longer. But usually I never do that. Usually I'm done before the month hits. Um, but it's a great process because you know it's lengthy because like you're going through every one of them and okay, this one's better, this one is it, this one's okay. I think Mimi had asked me a question earlier that I did not answer, and I saw in the chat. You asked me if I traveled a lot. I've been traveling a lot recently, especially to New York. I've kind of lost count how many times I've gone to New York now. Um, at this point, this is like my second home. And I'm going again to New York for New York Comic Con. So
Yeah.
I am gonna be there for New York Comic Con. I was at Anime NYC. I've gone to Katsucon, which is a con in DC, in the Maryland, DC area.
Katsu
I've
is
gone to
supposed to be a lot of fun. That's one of my next like goal cons.
that's
That and
crazy
Anime
con.
Boston.
Just be prepared. Just be prepared. That's what it is. It's just a
And that con is like, you know, Anime NYC has its times. It's like open at 10 a.m. and it closes at 10 p.m. No, Katsu's like open 24 hours. It's like
nonstop mayhem.
yeah.
it's
The
a it's,
vendors stay
it's a
up
party.
really late. It's a party con. That's a little different. It's really good though. I've gone to Anime Boston. That's one I did this year, was just new. Um, yeah, I've been little by little traveling. It's not easy because you know it's like flying from Puerto Rico to the States is not cheap. But little by little, I've been getting there, going to different cons in the States more, expanding and all that.
Before we end this, because this has been a fun session, a fun episode. I need to ask: is there any inside scoops to upcoming cosplays that you guys want to do, or upcoming events other than New York Comic Con that you guys have in the books?
Ooh.
Um,
That's well, I mean,
If you guys can.
for now,
well, I'm a secret person when it comes to content. So, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm working. I am definitely working on a new Puerto Rican suit. So that's maybe this year I might debut it, but we'll see. But as for events, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
I say definitely more Puerto Rican characters in the future from me. I'm still deciding whether it's maybe a Marvel character. Um,
Oh,
but in terms of Boricuaverse, we're still gonna expand. Hopefully, end up in other areas of the diaspora. Like, I think we wanted to plan to go to one of the Chicago festivals and meet Chicago Ricans, and also go to Florida. So like we're slowly branching out.
nice. Well, guys, that's time. Thank you for taking time out of your Sunday for joining us and talking with us and sharing your love for the nerd culture. And like I said at the beginning, if anyone tells you that being a nerd is a bad thing, they're lying to themselves. Um, but
Period.
yeah, I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. I look forward to seeing the pictures and the beautiful suits that you guys come out with. Thank you guys again. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for
Yeah.
having
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank
Thank you
you.
for having
me.
Thank you for
us.
Chat
joining.
chat has been awesome. Great questions. I see
Absolutely.
I know a lot of the people in
Yeah. Thank you,
the
Pat.
one. Thank you.
Guys.
Bye.
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 And stream.